What's up, my fellow humans? My name is Welv, and my partner is Alejandro. Today, we will be summarizing the acronym TIMBER, which covers period 3, year 600 through 1450. Okay, so let's jump into facts about the Tang and Song dynasty, which stand for the letter T. The Tang dynasty ruled for nearly 300 years, which were 618 through 907. Tang Taizong was the second emperor and was formerly known as Li Shimin. He came to power after killing his brothers and forcing his father, the first emperor, to step aside. Man, does power make you do crazy things. Under the Tang dynasty, the civil service examination system was restored in order to expand the bureaucracy necessary to manage the large empire. This means that people started earning rankings through helping the community. The Tang dynasty fell in 907 when Chinese rebels sacked and burned the capital and murdered the emperor, whom was a child. Well, now that we covered the facts about the Tang dynasty, let's look into the Song dynasty. A general named Taizu reunited China and declared himself the first Song emperor in 960. The Song dynasty lasted over 3 centuries from the years 960 through 1279. China was powerful, prosperous, and stable during the Song dynasty. A new capital was established at Hangzhou. The Song dynasty was also a period of great technological advancement in China. The movable type, paper money, and the magnetic compass were amongst the advances made during the Song dynasty. The power of the old aristocratic families faded away during the Song dynasty, making way for a larger upper class called the gentry, who attained their status through education and civil service. Okay, so now let's talk about the Incas and Islam, which stand for the letter I. By 1430, the Incas had started to build an empire in South America stretching from Ecuador to Chile. Cusco, the capital city, contains spectacular temples, palaces, and plazas, evidence that Incas excelled at engineering and stone masonry. The Incas did not use the wheel, had no iron tools, and did not develop a writing system. The Incan government was a bureaucracy that collected tribute, often in form of labor, and distributed to the citizens. Now that you know something about the Incan Empire, let's talk about Islam. Islam began in the 7th century CE when the angel Gabriel appeared to Muhammad. Muhammad was part of an intensely tribal society that was in Mecca, which was where Islam started. The Quran is a written record of the revelations Muhammad received. The Quran is also seen as the actual word of God, making it Islam's official book. The 5 pillars of Islam are the Shahada, the profession of faith, Salah, ritual prayers 5 times a day, which are dawn, noon, afternoon, sunset, and late evening, Psalm, month-long fasting during the month of Ramadan, Zakat, non-poor Muslims give a percentage of their income to the poor, and finally the Hajj, a pilgrimage to Mecca. One more thing is that the body of law for Islam is named Sharia. Okay, so now it's Alejandro's turn to drop some spicy facts. Go ahead, Alejandro.
The Mongol Empire emerged from the unification of nomadic tribes in the Mongol homeland under the leadership of Genghis Khan, whom a council proclaimed ruler of all the Mongols in 1206. The empire grew rapidly under his rule and that of his descendants, who sent invasions in every direction. The empire began to split due to wars over succession as the grandchildren of Genghis Khan disputed whether the royal line should follow from his son and their initial heir, Ojedi, or from one of his other sons. The Tulids prevailed after a bloody purge of Ojedi and Chagatai factions, but disputes continued even among the descendants of Tului. After Mongke Khan died 1259, rival Kurutai councils simultaneously elected different successors. The brother of Arya Boke and Kublai Khan, who then not only fought each other in the Tulid Civil War from 1260 to 1264, but also dealt with challenges from descendants of other sons of Genghis Khan. Kublai successfully took power, but civil war ensured that Kublai sought unsuccessfully to regain control of the Chagatai Gatid or Gadid family. The Battle of Ain Jalut in Galil in 1260 marked both the high point of the Mongol conquest and the first time opponents had ever beaten back a Mongol advance in direct combat on the battlefield. By the time that Kublai's death in 1924, the Mongol Empire had fractured into 4 separate khanates or empires: the Golden Horde Khanate in the northwest, the Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, and the Khanate in the southwest, and the Yuan dynasty in the east based near modern-day Beijing. In 1304, the three Western Khanates briefly accepted the nominal suzerainty of the Yuan dynasty, but in 1368, the Han Chinese Ming dynasty took over the Mongol capital. The Genghis rulers of the Yuan retreated to the Mongolian homeland and continued to rule there as the Northern Yuan dynasty, while the Golden Horde and the Chagatai Khanate lasted in one form or another for some additional centuries after the fall of the Yuan dynasty and the Ilkhanate in the period 1335 to 1353. Now we're going to talk about the Mali Empire. The Mali Empire, also referred as the Maren Karupawa, was an empire in the West Africa from 1230 to 1610. The empire was founded by Sundiata Keita. The empire began as a small Madika kingdom at the upper reaches of the Niger River, centered around the town of Nani. Sundiata Keita ruled from 1214 to 1255, was a warrior prince of the Keita dynasty who was called upon to free the Mali people from the rule of the Soso Empire. Saumaro Kate. The conquest of Soso in 1235 gave the Mali Empire access to the Trans-Saharan trade routes. In 1285, Sakura, a former royal court slave, became the emperor and was one of the most powerful rulers, expanded the territories of Mali. He made a pilgrimage to Mecca during the reign of Maluk Sultan and Nasir Muhammad from 1298 to 1308. Musa Qieta became emperor in 1312. Musa made a famous pilgrimage to Mecca from 1324 to 1326. In 1337, he was succeeded by his son Makhan I. In 1341, was exposed by his uncle Suleiman. Leo Africanus' visit in the 16th century showed that Mali was still a kingdom of considerable size. However, from 1507, neighboring states such as the Ara, Great Fulo, and the Songhai Empire were eroding the territories of Mali. In 1542, the Songhai invaded the capital city of Niani, but were unsuccessful. During the 17th century, the Mali Empire faced incursion from the Bamana Empire. After unsuccessful attempts by Mama Maghan to conquer Bamana in 1670, Niani was sacked and burned by Bamana, and the Mali Empire rapidly disintegrated and it ceased to exist, being replaced by independent chiefdoms.
In the East during late antiquity and the Middle Ages, when its capital city was Constantinople, founded by Byzantium. It survived the fragmentation and the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century. Constantine reorganized the empire from Constantinople in the new capital and legalized Christianity. Under Theodosius I, Christianity became the empire's official state religion, and other religious practices were proscribed. Under the reign of Heraclius, the empire's military and administration were restricted and adopted Greek for official use instead of Latin. Modern historians distinguish Byzantium from ancient Rome insofar as it was centered on Constantinople, oriented towards Greek rather than Latin culture, and characterized by Orthodox Christianity. The borders of the empire evolved significantly over its existence as it went through several cycles of decline and recovery. During the reign of Justinian I, the empire reached its greatest extent after reconquering much of the historical Roman western Mediterranean coast, including North Africa, Italy, Rome itself, which it held for more than 2 centuries. During the reign of the Maurya's, the empire's eastern frontier was expanded and the north stabilized. His assassination caused the Byzantine-Sasanian War of 602 to 1628. It exhausted the empire's resources and caused territorial losses during the Muslims' conquest of the 7th century. During the Macedonian dynasty, the empire again expanded and experienced the 2-century-long Macedonian Renaissance, which came to an end with the loss of much of Asia Minor to the Seljuk Turks after the Battle of Manzikert in 1071. The empire recovered again during the Comnenian Restoration, such that by the 12th century Constantinople was the largest and wealthiest European city. During the Fourth Crusade, the Constantinople was sacked in 1204 and territories were divided into competing Byzantine, Greek, and Latin realms. Despite the recovery of Constantinople in 1261, the Byzantine Empire remained only one of several small rival states in the area for the final 2 centuries. The fall of Constantinople to the Ottoman Empire in 1453 finally ended the Byzantine Empire.
What's up? It's me, Welvy, again, and I'm going to be talking to you about Europe regionalism, which stand for the E and R in timber. The political events that occurred during the European regionalism were the Mongol invasions, which occurred from 1237 to 1241, and that Russia divided into small kingdoms. Some economical events that occurred during this period were that most trades were made with agricultural nomadic people. The social thing that occurred was the increase of Jews, and that farmers were fairly free, and boyars, aristocrats, had less political power. Some art and architecture during the European regionalism were ornate churches, icons, illuminated manuscripts, religious art, local music, street performing, and the theater. Some empires that existed during this time period were the ones mentioned previously. And finally, some of the biggest religions during the European regionalism were Christianity and Islam. Well, anyways, Alejandro and I worked hard on this video, and we hope that some of the information we gave you is helpful in the future. Thanks for watching, and good luck taking this course.